Now we're here in the domain of Glin Castle on this wonderful open day under the auspices of Glin Development Association, all in aid of the development and repair and upkeep of St. Paul's Anglican Church just across the way from us here. And to talk to us about that, we're delighted to be joined by John Anthony Culhan, Chairman of Glin Development. John, it's a fantastic day, huge turnout here.
Yeah, fantastic, John. As you say, a lot more than we envisaged, but sure looked as great to have it. As you said, it's for a worthy cause. St. Paul's Heritage Centre needs a lot of maintaining, and unfortunately the storms that we're getting, it has done damage to the roof. So anything that will be collected here today will go towards the repair of the roof. Now, as we hope that St. Paul's in turn will become a museum, and that we'll be able to exhibit some of the artefacts they have here in the castle. We hear that it's still up for sale, and if it does sell, obviously we would love to keep the story of the Knights of Glin, which date back to 1250. So we would like to keep them in the parish, and if we could get a museum open telling the story of the Knights, then it would be wonderful, not only for the people of Glin, but for the tourist area in West Limerick.
Because tourism is going to be a huge input for business into Ireland, as it is growing every year, year on year. And with all the breaks by the government, we have to thank them for that as well on VAT. But the St. Paul's Church, history-wise, goes back right back to the early 1800s. So it's a church of character, a building of character, but also a lot of history attached to it for the old Knights of Glin.
There is, it's a big story, I suppose, really, because the St. Paul's is a Church of Ireland Protestant church, and I suppose what people don't realise is that the Knights of Glin, there were 29 of them, and the last one, as we know, died some years back, Desmond. But halfway through the period of the Knights of Glin, they converted to Protestantism. And, it's a long story, whether we have time for it today or not, but during the penal laws, there were laws that were very much against Catholics. And in particular, the sons of Catholic landowners, the landowner had to divide the land among all the sons if they were Catholic. But if any one of the sons became Protestant, then he, by right, would get the whole holding, the whole farm of land. Yeah. And that's what happened in the Knights of Glin, that the eldest son was a Catholic, but the second eldest, he spotted a loophole in the law, and he converted to Protestantism, and then he claimed the estate for himself. So the eldest son had nothing to do, only convert himself to Protestantism, and so therefore he kept the holding. And because of that, the Knights of Glin became Protestants, and they have stayed that way since. And so therefore St. Paul's was built to accommodate the Protestant congregation that built up in Glin.
Now, at the moment, there is a feasibility study being prepared by Glin Development with all the different organisations to look at the development of St. Paul's becoming a local and a national heritage centre. Could that be ready by next year, do you think? Will it take a while?
Oh, it will be ready for next year, yes. The only thing is, I suppose, as this feasibility study is progressing, it's going to cost quite a bit of money to convert St. Paul's into a state-of-the-art museum. But, we're hopeful. There's grants out there from the heritage centres, and West Limerick Resources hopefully will come into play as well. So it would be nice someday, as I said, to tell the story in St. Paul's. It would be an ideal venue for a museum.
Okay, John Anthony, I know you're very busy with all the activities today, but thank you again for joining us. Now, during the course over the last number of weeks, I had the great pleasure and honour of talking to a young man, Jerry Mulvihill from Listowel in County Kerry. I have been told by people kindred to me that he hails from Glin connections, very strong Glin connections as well. He told the story in a book called Play the Cards You're Dealt, which since we interviewed him has received over 7,500 views and likes on our social media site for the radio. Jerry, it has been a roller coaster for you.
Yeah, it's been really good, John. Very positive kind of, reaction to it, and that's what we were hoping for. Like, I think yourself, you did a wonderful job in the video. It's very effective, and I think that has shown through the amount of views it's got. So, it's translated here today. There's a massive crowd, so it's great, Really.
Now, I see you're very busy signing and everything like that, but in your book, of course, you said that a lot of the roads you were taking was due to the great family spirit. Your father, Paddy, is here, your mother and all the kindred spirits around you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like without their support, obviously, I wouldn't be as physically mobile as I am today, anyways. And their support's always been it's been very strong, and it's got me through hard times as well. So it's nice that I could sort of repay a little bit and give a little bit back to the charity also, through the book. So
I don't think I've read a book actually where there has been such support from major notorieties all around the country. How did you wrap that one in?
yeah, it was a bit of a long process, John, but I suppose about 2 years it took really overall. And like trying to just find people first that might have a story to give, and then trying to get them to agree to it, and sort of liaise with them then, and to see what angle to take on their particular stories. And so it was a long process, but they gave very freely of it, and very personal stories, as you've seen yourself. Which was very positive, and so a lot of the credit goes to them as well for giving that story.
Now, from here, then, what would you like to do? I know you're in the middle of studies as well.
Yeah, I'm in third year now, John, journalism, new media in Limerick. So I'm in 6-month placement now in the Kerryman until December. Yeah, so it's good experience, on the job experience, and so I'll just kind of keep plugging away on that and see where it takes me. But
I think camera and broadcasting will be your forte.
Maybe I wouldn't rule it out anyway. So
no, definitely not. You're a man of great ability. Just one quick word there from your father, Paddy. Paddy, you must be very, very proud. Your mother, or I should say your lady wife, and yourself, and family must be very proud of Jerry.
Yeah, we're very proud of Gerard. Yeah, Gerard had his share of hardships going through life, but he's always remained very positive, and we're extremely proud of him.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. And I don't think Jerry or yourselves expected to see such a huge national, we'll say, interest in the book and what the story he had to tell.
No, the book is sold out, and they printed another 1,000 copies. So hopefully we'll sell a few more of those. But there's been a great reaction to it.
Well, it just shows that even people with different disabilities, you can have a great life once you have the courage and the support behind you to do it.
Yes, I think so. Yes, yeah. Gerard says he's played the cards he's been dealt.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Great. Well done. You've done a great job yourself and your lady wife. Well done. Now, just continuing our very impersonal talk here to many of the great people surrounding the Open Day in Glin Castle today, and the proceeds from Jerry Mulvihill's book, Play the Cards You're Dealt, are all in aid of a wonderful national organisation called Enable Ireland. And I'm delighted to be joined here today by Sean Scally of Enable Ireland. Sean, it's great to have you with us.
Thanks for inviting me along. It's a lovely day. It's a pleasure to be here. I've never been to such a wonderful garden and castle. It's great.
No, we could all get used to this.
Oh, certainly. If I had a spare 6.5 million, I think I might invest.
Yeah. I might come up with half of it later, thanks to Jerry.
Struggle with the other 3.5, to be honest.
Now, Enable Ireland, we actually paid a visit there recently to one of the offices there and centres in Limerick. And the atmosphere was second to none between the staff and the patients and the people using the system. It was fantastic. You do great work there.
Well, yeah, we do. We're as you say, we're a national organisation. We provide services to children and adults with disabilities. I suppose having a child with a disability is a traumatic event for any family, and I suppose the supports that Enable Ireland provide in terms of the physio, the occupational therapy, the speech and language, but also the social side of it. I mean, speaking to other families who are put in a similar position, and Enable Ireland facilitates that. Thank you for saying such a nice thing. I spend every day within Enable Ireland, and so you almost lose track of what outside people might see. But there is a wonderful family atmosphere within the organisation. Yeah.
Definitely second to none. Now, the financial encumbrances on an organisation like that must be massive. So you depend on public support, but government support as well.
Yeah, well, Enable Ireland gets significant funding from the HSE to provide their services. However, we're not fully funded, and we do need to raise, as a national organisation, in the region of €2 million each year. Now, we do that from a variety of sources. So we have we have shops, we have national community fundraising, and we have lots of corporate support. So we're always sort of looking for extra funds, but the vast majority of our money is provided by the state. The book is a wonderful opportunity for Jared, but it's also, I've known Jared an awful long time, and it's great to see somebody who's come into the service, use the service, and leave the service, and then put something back.
Yes.
And we were delighted when he came to us and said he's going to publish the book, and we supported him. And the launch in the stall during Writers' Week was fabulous. It really was, and not just the money, but also the publicity and the awareness about Enable Ireland, because there's a lot of charities going on. There's a lot of charities in the state, and at the moment there's a lot of bad publicity, and it's nice for us to be able to put something positive out there, from somebody who's been with us and has come out the other side and is willing to put something back, which is fantastic.
Which is the way it should be.
Oh, it is great. I mean, whilst you're not under any pressure within Enable Ireland to fundraise and participate, it's wonderful for ourselves, staff, and to see that how much appreciated.
Yes.
The service.
And the one thing is, though, if people do get a chance, and they should get a chance to, under permission, of course, to visit the centres of Enable, just to have a look and see people. I suppose it might get rid of my grumpiness every day, giving out about everything. But when you see people there in different situations physically, they're absolutely fantastic. They're high-spirited, they're focused, they're positive.
Yeah, well, we do a lot of visits from schools, transition year coordinators, and sort of we have very good relationships with the likes of TK Maxx and the bigger corporates where we would organise visits. But you just can't walk in. People are getting a service, and there's always issues around confidentiality. But anytime we do come in, people are sort of surprised about the services we provide and what we do within the community.
Yes. And first of all, I want to thank you for inviting us back in September to Enable in Tralee.
Yes, come down. We have a new state-of-the-art building in Tralee, which was opened in 2009. So it's which is great, and we have an adult service as well in Tralee. So if you're more than welcome to come in.
We'll be there. We'll be there. Give you every support, and well done, to you all. And that concludes that part of our open day here in Glin Castle. All right, great. Now we're really enjoying this wonderful day, and thanks be to God, there is great weather blessing this open day in Glin Castle, and we're talking to a variety of people, and two great men from North Kerry that have set up a new business, and they're going to talk to us about that. And first we'll go to Damien Stack. Damien, how are you?
Fantastic, and thanks for having us here today. It's a wonderful.
It's a new business in many ways.
Well, it's basically to promote North Kerry and West Limerick. 3 years ago, I had the Stackland gathering in Listowel in 2013, and it was a great success. And we had nearly 400 stacks on the Saturday night in Listowel. A lot of interest from the Americans, and we can all see that jobs are going out of North Kerry and West Limerick.
Yes.
I myself have 2 children in America, had to emigrate, and I decided probably tourism was the thing to get into to try and promote the area. Definitely. North Kerry, West Limerick heritage, genealogy, and it has been a great success. We just had the third Stackland gathering 2 weeks ago, and we had over 60 Americans came over for the event for 3 days. They stayed 7 or 8 nights in Listowel and North Kerry and West Limerick, and you're showing off the area to people and the genealogy tourism. So then I set up another little company myself called Touralura Irish Tours.
Very nice, actually, Touraloo.
Yes.
Very nice, very Irish.
Arrive as a tourist and leave as a local. Get to know the area.
Excellent.
Stay in the area rather than doing the bucket list like most people do. They fly into Dublin, they want to see the Book of Kells, the Guinness Brewery, the Rocket Castle, and they're gone. They don't see Ireland or Irish people. So we want to get people back to basics and let them see the real Ireland, which is rural Ireland. It's not North Kerry and West Limerick isn't a tourist trap, and but that's what I'd like to show people, the real Ireland.
Oh, but when you see, Damien, as well, the absolute huge success of one part of Clare, the Cliffs of Moher. Millions going there every year. If you look at another aspect of it, Dublin Zoo, we'll say, millions turn over every single year. So what has to be offered down in Kerry and Limerick is massive. Absolutely, naturally huge.
Well, one of the big assets we have outside of anything else is the people, and the people make the place. And you're talking about the Cliffs of Moher. I was down on the Ring of Kerry recently, and they've nuked the Kerry Cliffs down on the Ring of Kerry outside. But important again, Ballinskelligs would blow the Cliffs of Moher out of the water any day. They're absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
But again, we would concentrate basically on North Kerry and West Limerick to try and generate more jobs, keep people in the area. And at least if people come, the buses, basically come in, they'll do their hours in one place and then they're gone. There's a few people staying in the B&Bs, in the registered guest houses, or even it's local business. They'll go downtown, have a pint, and if they like the place, they'll stay 2 nights. They're not on a bus. So I mean, they're free and easy. And even adventure tourism now. I mean, we're all talking about tourism, but when you look at the amount of money that's been put into the infrastructure of the greenways now, and we're trying to get the one finished from Kilmore to Listowel now, which will be a fantastic advantage to North Kerry and West Limerick. I mean, you find you have all along the Shannon Estuary, you have Carrigafoyle Castle, Clonaclusa, Tarbert itself, you know. It's unbelievable what's in North Kerry, and people haven't seen it. And the history and genealogy, which Jerry and myself do.
Exactly. And on that point of genealogy, because as a nation, as a people, we're always looking back. We love to see where we came from, even though a lot of people would admit they wouldn't like to know where I came from. But anyway, leaving that aside, well, I was often told about Prendergast, you know, but Christian brothers that taught me, you Prendergast, you came in with the Vikings and you raped and plundered the country, you know. I'm still doing it. But anyway, no, I better rephrase it anyway. Plundering might be more appropriate, you know. I'll stick with the one, plundering, you know. Now, Gerard Grady from Arda in County Limerick, great to have you with us. Gerard, your grandfather, a great Sean-Nós singer. What a man, what a voice.
He was more than a voice, he was a fantastic character.
Yes.
And a man who never knew the word no.
No.
I mean, up until the very end, he was out singing. I mean, I've often gone over to his house at maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the day, and I'd have to get him out of bed because he would only gone into bed about 8 o'clock that morning, and that was when he was 89. So you know, I mean, but he certainly lived
a life.
He did. His wife passed away when he was about 70, and that's kind of when he took a second turn and really went into the show business side of it.
Well, he was just without any formal training, he was a natural.
Well,
he was an absolute natural.
He had, I suppose, the oral version of a photographic memory. If he heard the song 3 times, he could sing it.
Yes.
And what made him so unique was that even though he'd hear it 90% verbatim, he always added on his own little bit.
Of course he did.
And you never knew where songs.
No.
I mean, he sang a song about the Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba, which is actually an American song. Nobody knows how it came over here at all. And it's rarities like that and people like that it is important that they be seen and heard.
And tell me, from that man's great portfolio of music, has it passed on to you, to your younger generation? Do you sing?
Badly and not too frank. The next generation blow me again. There's a good few singers
involved.
You're
not getting out that easy. I know what you're up to. Yeah.
No, the next generation has some lovely singers.
Do you do any Sean-Nós, do you?
No.
It's very specialised.
It is very specialised. And his daughter Greta, who actually was from Glin originally, she's living below in Foynes, is fantastic at it. She'd be very close to the bone on that as well.
All right, very good. Maybe she's not here today, obviously.
No, I don't think she is. No. But
if she is, she'll be doing us some a little bit. I know she could be anywhere. Now, ancestry, it's massive all over the world. People retracing where they came from, who's who, connected to who.
Oh, it is, and as Damien said, I mean, we've through the Stack Clan gathering, we've just proven how many people want to actually come back and resurrect their own family history. And even Irish people, I mean, you notice the crowds here today. I mean, it's to do with the sponsorship, it's to do with the fantastic organisation, but there's also a huge appetite for history in the last 20 years, which hasn't been there up to now. And there's an appetite for records, and unfortunately Irish records are extremely awkward and dense to get through, so that's why people need that little bit of extra help.
They do. I think it's fantastic, actually, the whole concept of just helping people and retrace them, because I'll tell you, there has been a big shift in tourism. I know we have a very good relationship with the UK, but since the visit of Queen Elizabeth, and Prince Philip there a number of years ago, between trade and tourism, it's massive now.
Well, I mean, last year, 2015, there were an extra million visitors, so we were up 12.5%. It was 8 million from 7 the year before. And a lot of that is down to genealogy and the family history side of things. The government made a big splurge for the year of the gathering. And unfortunately, they backed off a little bit, and that's what Damien is going on about there, where we reckon people should be getting back into and supporting the clan gatherings and things like that, because they made the same effort for the 1916 celebration, massive all-round effort, absolutely brilliant. But it's a decade of commemorations. There's another 4 or 5 years of that needs to be done properly as well.
And the 1916 commemorations was fantastic. I mean, that was huge,
unbelievable.
Reaction.
And I mean, not only 1916, but right up as the decade of commemorations, commemorating all the wonderful wonderful struggles that our forefathers did before us. You have Roger Casement now in the last couple of days, you know. And the other thing that that I didn't mention a while ago was the work by the government in promoting the Wild Atlantic Way, which is absolutely one of the best. Now we have the Ancient East, and there you have them in the Ancient East are trying to cash in on the old history again, you know. So I mean, like, it's all very important that we, as Ger said, when Ger organised Footsteps of Freedom, that wonderful event on the 24th of April commemorating the march from the 17 parishes of West Limerick in 1916, and Ger said one thing at a meeting one night over in Newcastle West: to remember is never to forget. And that's what we're trying to encourage people not to forget, you know, and to remember their ancestors that went before them, and that would encourage people to come over again for the genealogy.
Where would you see the project going now for you both?
Well, I'm still involved in Footsteps of Freedom. That was a copy of what happened in 1916. And we've got a list for West Limerick, including Glin, and finds of 2,430 names who were involved between 1912 and 1922. So at the moment I'm trying to track down as many photographs as possible for that. On the Stack Clan Gathering, it looks like there'll be another one. We haven't got the date yet, but you can ask.
Every 2 years in July.
Damien, I was with Damien as well a couple of years ago when we started the Listowel Military Festival. Which
that's with Jim Halpin.
That's with Jim Halpin.
Great man.
I'm the chairman of the group, and Padraig Nolan and Jim Halpin, Ger was in it, and John O'Sullivan, and a few more, Dennis Leahy and a few of the girls. But it's a wonderful thing to have in town again, and has the possibility to be a very big festival, you know. And
I saw it on nationwide on RTE.
Yes, we got great coverage. We had 5 TV channels down the second year, you know. And again, it brings people to Listowel and North Kerry. Listowel doesn't have the accommodation facilities, so everyone is going to benefit if we bring the crowd. They can stay from Fines all the way down as far as Tralee and over as far as Newcastle West and Abbeyfield. And again, the other person that I must actually again thank for doing an awful lot of work for the tourism industry would be Declan Downey with his lovely, fabulous new book that he took out there recently with Nesta.
Here recently, a few days ago.
Fabulous. He did one on North and West Kerry last year, and it was a fabulous. And it's a little book everyone should have, because it's the small stories in the local area.
It's fantastic.
Well, I mean, when you pull into a petrol station, the first person you meet, if you want to, they're going to be the people that will sell your area.
Correct.
You must always sell your area. And John B. Keane, Lord be good to him in Listowel, my next door neighbour, was wonderful. He'd always say, mention your town, mention Listowel, mention Glin, mention where you come from. And that will keep people's awareness of the area.
And with that then you see networked into ancestry. People would love to go. Actually, even in the last couple of years, there has been a sizable uptake to local funeral undertakers actually in the area. I'm sure in Kerry, in Limerick as well, about different headstones, connections to family names, where they might be buried, etc. as well. So people are looking all the time.
Well, they are, and you see, unfortunately, Irish records are so scattered, and it's not easy to decipher a lot of them. You see a lot of people. I always laugh, and Damien laughs when I say it. I see a lot of people in graveyards at 8 or 9 o'clock at night trying to read headstones. And everybody should know it as a simple hint is that all Catholic headstones face east, so that on the last day you can sit up and you're facing the rising sun. You never look at an Irish headstone afternoon because the sun has gone behind it. So it's unless you have a mirror, but so it's a queer. Those little queer additives. They add a lot because you do get people trying to decipher headstones and rubbing them and all
that's
sorts.
what I do, because in the old graveyards there you can see, going back to the 1930s, 1920s, the 1800s, the famine time, the actual time limit of life was very small.
Span is there, and you've Kilfergus graveyard here, which is a fantastic graveyard. And I mean, you've 2 of the first people killed in the 1916 rising on different sides are actually buried up there. One was an RIC man and one was a volunteer. And it just shows, as you said, the whole gambit of Irish history is at your feet.
It is.
From one place to the next.
And this is where you're going to pinpoint your help for people inquiring about their ancestors, about people that want to know place names, or maybe where their grandfather came from, the great-great-grandfather that came from.
It's to help decipher the whole jigsaw. That's when myself and Damien started off. The very first time we started off with North Kerry Reaching Out, which was a voluntary group on Facebook to help people, just to give them that little extra local knowledge.
That's right.
Because we've got people coming to us from America with thousands of dollars worth of research done, and it's gone completely the wrong way because they don't know the difference between the black mulvihills and the white mulvihills. That's you need a local person, you need a person on the ground, and that goes back to Damien's tour, Lower Irish Tours, is that mean, you can sit in, no insult to paddy wagon buses or anything like that, but you can
I
sit
know.
on a tour bus and you can look at Ireland through the window, or you can meet up local people like Damien and see what the country's really like.
That's the
You
big
know, and
difference.
that's the
I
difference.
I thoroughly
think
agree
that's
with
what
that.
we should be selling.
Yes,
And that's what the Wild Atlantic Way is meant to be selling.
Yeah.
It's not a hop, skip and jump between Dingle, Killarney, Limerick.
No,
it's
no.
get off the bus, walk around, get out of it there, go to Glin, go to Tarbert. You know, the
Just see the
amount.
lo- And Jared, you were saying there as well, of course, which is very true of all tour buses, as the marvellous job that these tour packages do. But it's sort of Dingle to Tralee to Galway or something, and seeing the countryside through a window. Whereas you're saying, get off the buses, get on your feet, and start meeting local people.
That's it, yeah. I mean, and I, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the tour companies because
I know.
they've brought tourism in Ireland to the point where it is.
Yes.
But there is a niche developing there for the discerning tourist that wants to come to Glin, for instance. We had a family from Canada recently. We're related to Delans in Glin.
Delans,
and I mean,
yes.
they got a bus to Killarney and they were stuck. They didn't know what to do next.
Ah, yeah,
I mean,
see, there.
we eventually they stayed in Tarbert,
Yes.
and we had them over in the graveyard in
Glin.
Glin
Yeah.
and things like that. That's what's needed, is a little bit of help to get that person
Correct,
from
yes,
the
yes.
central point,
Right.
and not to overdo it, like just give them what the Irish experience, as Damien
Yes,
called it,
yes,
because that's what we're famous for.
Right.
And it's, I mean, I think when the money kind of went a bit madness there in the late 2000s, I think one of the things we forgot about was that Irish welcome,
Yes.
and I think that's coming back now, and
It's coming back in
and
a
it's-
big way.
it
And
is.
thanks
You
to
see it here
people like
today.
yourselves as well.
you-
And thanks to you, you know.
Yeah, so again, it's up to everybody to do their little bit. Like the
Yeah.
gathering was bringing people home.
It was.
A fantastic thing that's happening in Listowel is Olive Stack's art gallery.
Okay.
Olive brings, and this is just an example of what
Right.
can happen. Olive brings over artists in residence for the summer,
Mm.
and she had 2 girls over from Atlanta, Georgia. One of them was there for 2 months, the other girl was there for a month. One of them, her mother and 3 sisters came over, spent a week in Listowel. That was money in
Yes,
circulation. But they also bring 22 students every year to Italy
Yes.
for 2 weeks to do art classes. They were impressed so much by Listowel and North Kerry and West Limerick.
Yes.
They've decided next year to bring those art students to Listowel and North Kerry and West Limerick for 2 weeks next year. That's 22 people for 2 weeks, bed nights. That's like
Local turnover,
Yeah, that's it.
Hospitality in the pubs and everything.
And don't forget the flights, because Shannon Airport is not a God-given thing. It needs to be minded.
It does.
And I mean, like
needs to be encouraged.
the 67 Americans that we had for the Stack Gathering this year, we estimated they're worth €140,000 to the local North Kerry and West Limerick.
Yes.
And that's only one small clan gathering. There's an amount of clan gatherings out there yet to be done.
Yes.
And I think the government needs to kind of keep that fire burning.
Well,
and not
do you-
let it go out.
Is there a minister appointed now in the new government for rural affairs? Will that come under his portfolio or her portfolio?
I'm going to apply for the job.
I think the two of you should, because you'd be marvellous at it.
No, I'm not too sure. No, you had the Minister for the Diaspora, who was Minister Deanahan,
That's
but whether that has been carried on in the next government, I don't know.
think time
They're
will
changing so fast now, we don't know who's who.
That is true. Yep, changing very fast.
The Minister for Local History and GA and Sport is Patrick O'Donovan.
Oh,
from
Patrick
Newcastle West.
Donovan from Newcastle West.
So we
yes.
have, in fairness.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
it's
think
right in the heart.
He will be one man that will. I know him personally. He will move. He will
We have been
move.
speaking
Yeah.
to him.
Now, just finally as well, it's very, very important that people make connections with you, because this is another growth in West Limerick and Kerry that's going to mushroom, I know, as well. So how do people get in touch with you?
Well, the Tour of Lure Irish Tours, we have a Facebook page, the Listowel Military Group have a Facebook page, and Ger has a Facebook page for your genealogy, for anything that genealogy wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your connection then to the website is
It's for your genealogy, the number 4 you are genealogy.
for. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and also
Okay.
the Footsteps of Freedom project has its own page as well, which is very good.
And they're all connected.
They
then.
are all connected. We're
Great.
all connected. So, and physically, they can call to Damien's Furniture Shop and buy a table while they're talking to him as well.
There's
Because we're
the
still
Kerry salesman.
We're still trying to keep the day jobs going. You see, that's the point.
And the
Well, right.
Stackland Gathering has a Facebook page as well. Yeah,
Right, very good.
and also a web page.
But when they go onto one page, they can get all the other connections.
Linkage is very important.
Yeah.
Linkage is
Very,
very
very
important.
good.
And
Yeah.
Damien's shop in William Street links us all as well, because that's where all the meetings are always held. We have a free meeting hall, and his mother makes the tea,
Who's
so it's
plugging who
great.
here commercially? You know, I love that. I think it's brilliant. You know.
But it's the way it should be done. It's
should be done,
networking
yes,
of the
yeah.
Irish style.
Yeah,
And,
I
you know,
agree.
we may
Yeah.
not be meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning, but we are getting together and getting things done.
No, I think that's absolutely fantastic and well done.
It's not for anyone's benefit, it's for all our benefits.
Exactly,
And that's what
yes.
it's all about. And the best of luck to Glyn and their
Please
projects ahead. And yeah, well done.
Well, there's one very simple economic theory, and it is this: if you have jobs in a local town, And if you have days like this, or businesses like Damien and Jared's, you're bringing wages into a town, wages into people's pocket, and it stays in people's towns. That's the most important thing.
And just to leave you with one thought, you were
Sure.
saying about your family and their being the pillaging side of it.
Oh, yes.
There's an old saying in genealogy is that every family has a lunatic, and if yours doesn't
Thank you.
have one, it's probably you.
Well, I guarantee you one thing. It has been said that I am the lunatic of the Prendergast. Yes, it is now confirmed. And thank you now for making it so public. Listen, Damien, George, much obliged to you, and thank you again.